Hello everyone, Erica here, and I'm here today to do a review of Radiance by Catherynne M, which I have been promising to do since I read this book in November. This is not going to be one of my quick 2-minute reviews. I have a lot to say, so let's dive right in. Radiance was just published this year in 2015. This is the US hardback edition. I really like it. It is kind of hard to describe. So, Catherynne M is, of course, the author of the much-beloved middle-grade series Fairyland, which begins with the girl who circumnavigated Fairyland in a ship of her own making. I'm in love with that series. I had never read any of her adult fiction until now, though, and I'm really pleased that I did. I'm going to read you the first little bit of the blurb for this book because I have a really hard time describing it to people, and it usually just ends up in me shouting a bunch of non-sequitur words that describe books. So let me read a little bit to you. It says, Radiance is a deco-punk, pulp, sci-fi, alt-history, space opera mystery set in a Hollywood and solar system. Very different from our own. Severin Unk's father is a famous director of gothic romances in an alternate past in which talking movies are still a daring innovation due to the patent-hoarding Edison family. Rebelling against her father's films of passion, intrigue, and spirits from beyond, Severin starts making documentaries, traveling through space, and investigating the levitator cults of Neptune and the lawless saloons of Mars. For this is not our solar system, but one drawn from classic science fiction, in which all the planets are inhabited and we travel through space on beautiful rockets. Severin is a realist in a fantastic universe. So, buzzwords there. Deco-punk, pulp, science fiction, alt history, space opera, mystery, gothic romance. Yeah, it's really hard to describe, and Valente does an excellent job blending these genres. I would say, if I had to describe it, that it's kind of a space opera meets an old noir black and white film. But on top of that, the narrative structure is very unique in that it is not told in a traditional narrative structure at all. Every chapter is kind of through a different media. So you have movie scripts and people's journal entries and kind of transcriptions from interviews and things like that that kind of tie together to tell the story. One thing I would say, I would not recommend this to anyone who likes neat and tidy endings. This ending is not neat and tidy, which I love. You all know that I hate it when my books are wrapped up in pretty little ribbons and explained to me. It really bothers me. It feels almost like condescending. I don't know, but this was left very open-ended. It left me thinking. I'm still thinking about it. I have to reread this really soon because I feel like I missed so much and there's so much more that I could get out of this book. But I don't feel that way in a bad way. I don't feel like I missed so much and it went over my head and because of that I didn't get the book. I just know that with a reread I will be able to glean so much more out of it that I didn't get the first time around. I was very focused on kind of connecting the dots through all of the different narratives and the different narrative structures this read through. So I know next time being a little bit more familiar with the storyline and the characters will be probably just as, if not more, rewarding. It's kind of a cliche metaphor, but I feel like this book is kind of like an onion where you can just peel back layer after layer after layer. There are some very complex themes going on here, and I'm sure that I have not even scraped the surface of realizing what they are. But some things that really spoke to me in this book were kind of these universal themes about loss and love and what we'll do for the people we love and what we won't do for the people we love, and grief, the kind of grief and the different ways that different people kind of express their grief when they lose a loved one or when a loved one is not emotionally available for them. I also just really enjoyed how this book takes such a close look at different kinds of media and film and things of that nature through such a unique presentation. Are these words making sense? Not really. Like I said, I have a lot of complex feelings about this book, and I'm not quite sure that I can put them all into words. Another thing that I thought this book did really well is that there's kind of this underlying environmental awareness element to it. all of the different planets in the book kind of have their own unique environments and their own agricultural sort of products. And there's kind of this underlying awareness of what people are doing to the planets, and kind of also in turn what the planets are doing to the people. Like the people who live on the moon start to turn blue after a little while. Crazy. I love it. But there's really this interesting kind of push and pull between the systems in which these people are living and vice versa, if that makes sense. Anyway, I thought this was absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend this. I would say, as far as science fiction goes, because I know it's being kind of broadly categorized as science fiction, it's not super hard sci-fi. I didn't think, and I don't read a ton of science fiction. Like I said, it's a very large blend of genres. And Catherynne Valente's writing, I can't believe I haven't said this already, is absolutely phenomenal. She is a stunning writer. It's part of the reason why I love the Fairyland series so much. And I mean, her words take my breath away all of the time, continuously. Like, every other sentence is amazing. So, there's that. So if you're looking for a really, really well-written, complex book that might leave you thinking, what the fuck? This is what I think you should read. I will say it is one of the strangest books I have read this year. It is also one of the best books that I have read this year. If you have read this, please talk to me about it in the comments. If you have not read this and have any questions, I would be happy to try and answer them as best that I can. And if you have any recommendations for me based on my love of this book, I'd also love to hear that. Or any recommendations on where to go next with Catherynne Valente, because now I've read Fairyland, and I've read this, and I want to read basically everything she's ever written, ever. So, let me know in the comments, and thank you all so much for watching. I will talk to you next time. Bye!